Well, I guess what did you think of this pick four or this card overall? Did you get a chance to look at some of the other races?
I haven't looked at the other ones yet, um, but I probably definitely will. I mean, it looks like pretty good card. Um, some good stakes races here, and just in the middle of the card, which is it's a pretty good sign that the card's good in general. If you're getting stakes races in the middle of it, so
Yeah, these stakes races are pretty stacked. I think they look like some good races.
So, anyways, let's get down to the nitty gritty.
We'll start with the race five, 6.5 furlongs, the open mine, $300,000 stakes, small field, only 6 horses. I really want to just single a pick in this race, and it's two Zytlos with Christian Torres on her. I think this horse is just maybe a little classier than some of the other ones and just consistently finishes kind of regardless of the pace set up in some of the previous races. This is 6.5 furlongs, a little bit of a stretch out compared to what she's been doing in the recent history, but I think it might benefit her late speed style. And she's never too far back getting into the stretch, which is a key at some of these Churchill Downs sprints, I think. If I were to have one horse underneath, I think I would go with the 6 on Sung Melody. Just kind of looks like the speed that Zytlos is probably going to run down in the stretch. Um, but I just liked what I saw out of Zytlos and her replays a little bit better than any of these other ones. I wish I could have got to like Positano Sunset or something, but I haven't seen what I needed to from her compared to Zylos. So yeah, I would go with 2, and if I had one underneath, it would be the 6 Unsung Melody. Who'd you have here?
yeah, I like the 6 a little bit. Um, that's probably my second horse. I think this race is kind of light on speed. Um, so you might be able to get a price that's kind of up close to the pace, and they set a slower pace, and it's a little bit harder for um, you to run them down, or the 3. They're both kind of the favorites, and they're both closers. Um, I mean, 2 definitely is the one to beat, I think. Pretty consistent in that closing kick, but trusting a dirt sprinter at a closer is tough for me. I actually like the 1 Run for the Hills quite a bit. I think this one will sit first or second. It's coming out of a turf sprint at uh, at Saratoga, uh, pressing a really quick pace, and just kind of faded. But I mean, they went 43-4. He was pressing 3 wide, or she was pressing 3 wide, had no chance. But 2 back, got a race taken off the turf and won nicely in an allowance race. So who knows? This horse might actually be better on dirt, even though they've almost all on synthetic or on the turf. Um, so she's got early speed, and I don't think I think the 6 will go to the lead, like you said, but I think this one will kind of sit that pocket rail trip, and might even tip out to press 2 wide, kind of as they come into stretch. So I'm kind of looking to try and beat the favorites in here, and yeah, I like the 1 and the 6.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I was looking a lot at the 1 too. If the race shape was a little different, I would probably love her in this race, but she'll probably be right there at the finish too. Her in the 6 or the speed that uh, Zylos and Positano will have to run down. The 4 Happy Am I kind of peels off coming into the stretch in a lot of her races with any speed, so it'll probably be those 2 on the front. I like it. We'll go into the next race, race 6, 7 furlongs, $127,000 allowance race. Interesting setup here. I think there's a lot of horses that are going to be in that second group right off the pacemakers, and there might only be 2 or 3 horses at the front. I kind of spread around in this race. You mind going first and tell me what you got?
Sure. Yeah, I thought this race was really difficult. Um, there's just not a lot separating of these. Um, so there's nothing I really. I'm kind of like you. I'm more likely to use a few in here. The 3, Harrodsburg 6-1 morning line is coming off kind of a bad effort last time, but 2-back ran really well. Last time was favorited, kind of pressed 3 wide and then faded. Not sure what went wrong that day, but like you said, there's not a lot of pace in here, and um, his prior early pace figures are pretty quick. Um, so I think he's gonna get sent by Jose, and I think he's got a big chance in rebounds in a big way. When he was in the Atras barn, he showed really good speed and ran some fast figures, and ran a fast race 2-back too. So I think that one's a bounce back horse. 7, Think Big, ran pretty big last time at Colonial, heavily bet. That one looks like it has talent and upside. The 9, Own the Field, won nicely last time. So, and the Cox horse, the 10, Star of Wonder, 3-1 is kind of a wild card. Broke his maiden in the slop, so not really creative. I couldn't really find any bombs that I like, but those are some mid-price horses. The 3 I like the best.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of similar to you. I've got the 3 for all the reasons you said. I'm not worried about that last race. Small field and just got outran on a slow pace. It happens on the if you're stepping up in class and you run a slow pace in a small field, you can just get outbeat sometimes. So yeah, good bounce back spot. Going to be the pacemaker, or possibly with I would have Harrisburg on top with the 12 Attache. It's had Rafael Bajarano for most of his recent races and done pretty well with them. Probably going to be the speed maker with 3. Hard to get past him. Just a good finisher. Put out some good speed figures and has some experience at Churchill Downs. 3 of 5 at the Churchill Downs track. Chris Hartman is looking good with these mid layoff horses as well. So I had 3 and 12 on top. And then underneath, I also had the 7 you were talking about, Think Big. Had a good race last out. Probably going to see some similar fractions, but that was a maiden 60. So I don't know if I would have him winning. And I don't love Brian Hernandez in Kentucky for some reason. He just seems to always finish in the lower part of the exotics. But I like them as a finishing horse and picking up 2nd or 3rd late. And then underneath as well, I did have 8 Global Stage with Jaime Torres. Good early speed as well, probably going to be right off the pace. 2nd out with new trainer, Juan Cano, who isn't a super high percentage trainer, but he looked good last time out for him at a lower class. And he's teamed up well with Jaime Torres, so I'm going to be following these Jaime Torres horses a lot whenever I can get them in a good spot. Good workouts, 1 of 2 at Churchill Downs, and pretty similar speed figures in his other races that should be competitive in this race. This is also his 2nd time against Attache, so looking for possible comeback as he seems to be improving a little bit. So on top I had the 12-3 for the 3 for all the reasons you said, and then the 8-7 underneath. I would probably include at least the 8 on my horizontal ticket, though. I think he's got a good shot. Go to the 7, mile and a 16th. This is a grade 2, $400,000 purse. Smaller field again. 8 horses entered. Sorry, there is a lot of speed, early speed in this race, and my favorite horse coming off the speed would be the 7, Shotgun Hottie. has more experience than these other horses at this level, has more experience racing off of Lasix. One of four, Churchill Downs 2 times in second, good speed figures at this distance. This is a little bit of a cutback compared to some of her more recent races. Has more experience at the graded stakes level. It's hard to get past her here as well. I think the main concern is how far back she's going to be. She's never ridden with Jose Ortiz, who should put her in a good spot, 2 or 3 links back, I think. There's a lot of early speed. I'm not sure how fast it's going to go. It seems like it might be an average pace. Maybe one horse, possibly the 6, getting out a little bit quicker, but it's going to be close finishing. Yeah, has beaten multiple other horses in this race before, or raced them really close. The only other horse I think I liked underneath possibly was the 8 with the Hoosier Filly. Getting IRAD now, swapping over, so that's a huge upgrade. Has just a good finishing ability if there is more pace than expected, so could be a further back finisher than Hot Gun Hottie if a hot pace develops between all the horses that want to get to the front. And has some. This is a trip back to dirt off of turf, so probably gonna get a price on her just because she didn't look good on turf, but probably just wasn't meant to be a turf horse. And I think you can expect some good speed figures, probably some in the realm of what the winner should have. So if there's a hot pace, she's gonna have a chance to close into it late. How did you see this race?
Yeah, I agree. I landed on the 7 as well. I think it's just one of those races you gotta single, or you could use. If she doesn't win, I could see any horse winning this race. So yeah, I like that shorter distance for her. Coming out of some 2 salty races where she's run really good seconds, and just shortening the 16th of a mile. It should be. She comes from off it, but she'll be close even if they don't go too fast. Where I still think she'll be able to pass them in the stretch and get there. So, yeah, the 5 ran a really big race last time, but that kind of just looks like a fluke. Got a good setup and hadn't run nearly that fast before. The 1 kind of coming out of that race.
Yeah, the 1 was
Yeah, I keep staring at her. So that might be, since I mean she is 8-1 and might be in that 8-10 to 10-1. That would be the only other one I might use where I could see her kind of using her speed out of the gate, being a little bit of a moderate pace, and her getting a really good trip, and kind of having the lead as they enter the stretch, and maybe she gets brave, and when she does have the lead in the stretch, she does tend to finish off the race in front. So, and 2 for 4 at Churchill, and so yeah, that'd be the one price I like, the 1, but I like the 7 in here as well.
okay, very nice. Yeah, the 1's probably the other one I would have underneath. If you didn't like the 7 or the 8, you might be able to get a similar price on the 1, who should have some early speed. But yeah, I don't know if I was thinking about singling as well with the 7. I'll probably do 7, 8, and then go back to that Zylos race and throw in another horse based on what I'm seeing before the race. But I'll probably leave the 8 on with the 7 in this one. And then on to race 8, a mile for 2-year-old fillies. I'm not a fan of 2-year-olds or maidens. Finish us off here and tell us how we'll make some money, I guess.
Yeah, grade 3 race. This one was really hard too. Big full field. Yeah, big full field, lightly raced 2-year-old. So a lot of room for upside on these horses. Price I like best is the number 6, Pretty Sure. First out for Brandon Walsh at Ellis. Uh, wasn't a very quick pace. It was kind of a slow pace, and she swooped the field with ease. So that was a really impressive debut on a track you don't really see horses go from last to first on sprinting unless it's a complete meltdown. So I think this filly's got talent. Gets Rosario, which we've
We love him.
talked
We
about
love
him
him
before.
here.
Not yeah. Honestly, they'll probably drop her back to last here, and maybe the pace heats up and he swoops around. But she's stretching out in distance, and I think that one definitely has a lot of upside. The 9 Strong State was another one I like. It was really game made or breaker at Saratoga versus Salty Field. Was kind of dueling the whole way and won, and then last time it was in the slop and didn't really run great, but gets the blinkers on. We'll get back to a fast track. I think as upside, Irad aboard. Then the 13, another horse from Saratoga, wide post, but Gaffleon Amos ran really nicely last time. Was kind of out pressing the pace, finish it off. Is just steadily improving and now stretching out to a mile. So that's a tough post, stretching out in distance. Might get hung wide, but yeah, I like the 6 quite a bit, and the 9 and the 13 as kind of backups.
Okay, yeah, this one was pretty tough. I like those horses you mentioned. I just didn't get to them for different reasons for each one. The ones I went with on top, I would have the 2 Icona Mama race Kimchi Cat close in the last race and had a pretty difficult trip. I think it was kind of pinched.
Yeah, I like that
inside at one
horse.
point.
I forgot to mention that one.
This is only her second on dirt. Looked really good last time. Looked like could come back with this longer distance, and the stretch run might help her finish out a little bit. Gets Florence Giroux here, which I don't know how much I love him in Kentucky sometimes, but should do fine. At least as good as Juan Alvarado last time, so has a really good shot at getting the comeback spot over Kimchi Cat here, who I also have Kimchi Cat underneath for all the reasons you said. I don't have to go into her too much. Just a strong runner, gonna be right off the pace. Has Tyler, you really can't leave her off the ticket in this race, I feel like. But I would put her underneath, just taking a shot at the 2 with the longer price, and then I also like the 3 La Cara. Also good early speed, super strong win last out at a maiden 100,000 at 7 furlongs, so the mile shouldn't be a problem. This is a Mark Cassie horse, and his horses have just been tuned up right recently. 20% first at route. That's something I look at when we're seeing like a mile or a mile 16th maiden type race or a 2-year-old race. How good are they at the first time they're going to a route? And he's been getting them going pretty well. So that's another horse I like. Is the 3. That was a super strong race, by the way. If you watched that last one, just killed the competition. Underneath, I would mention one more underneath would be the 12 Stilettos right inside of Kimchi Cat. Both of those are just kind of strong, right off the pace runners. It doesn't bother them to get challenged or have to run down a horse. They've done it so far. 1 by 16th links out, first time maiden, came back and won the debutante at Ellis Park. Good speed figures. Was pressured in that race and still pulled out strong. Changes here to Jose Ortiz, which I think is an upgrade as well. So another horse that I really couldn't leave off. And that last race, since it was a debutante stakes, was without Lasix, which is something I'm looking at here. You see Kimchi's good. Stilettos is good. It's good. Look for good speed figures without Lasix. So I couldn't leave that one off as well. I put the 2 inside over the 2 outside just because like you said, yeah, it's a tough trip being hung out so wide. I think it might be better for Kimchi Cat than Stilettos. She can finish into a pace. It seems like a little bit better, but yeah, that's how I would have it. 2-3 with 11, 13, 12, 13 outside. And yeah, I liked a lot of horses in this race. One of the reasons I dread picking 2-year-old races, I like the Strong State had a strong run, 2 back before the slop. I liked Atomic City, the 8 with Louis Machado. Um, Quite a bit of just good looking 2-year-olds in this race. Probably going to be pretty competitive. So yeah, I'll have at least those 4 horses, and I might even throw in one of the ones you mentioned. A lot of also availables that look good too, depending on who gets scratched. So it's going to be a tough race.
Yeah, I definitely will be using the 2. Yeah, maybe the Cassie horse also. Yeah, I definitely look for horses that can finish stretching out, and that 2. That's like a perfect running line for a stretch out horse, kind of mid pack, good closing third, behind a moderate pace, and looks to stretch out nicely.
Yeah, that last race she really did look like if you just stretched it out to a mile long, she probably runs down Kimchi Cat in the stretch. At least it looked like it, so it'll be good to see him now at a mile and see if she can pull it off.
Yep.
Alright, I'll do a little rundown review real quick. I got in race 5, the 2 Zeitlos, race 6, the 12 Attache, the 3 Harrodsburg, and then underneath the 7 Think Big and the 8 Global Stage. Race 7, the 7 Shotgun Hottie, with the 8 Who's Your Philly, and then in this last race I've got a kinda Mama, the 2, La Cara, the 3, Kimchi Cat 13, and Stilettos, the 12. I think that's like a $16 race or a $12 race if you solo single with Zeitlos, and then obviously you could drop in another few horses and it's still a pretty pretty affordable ticket. I will mention I wanted to do something with the 9th race, but that's probably one of my favorite dirt sprinters right now. Is close the game Sugar, but just like such a low money line price, and then you got Skelly in that race as well. So I don't see it's going to be really hard to get past either of those 2 in that race, and it might even be like a 1-2 finish. So I couldn't do anything with that race for the podcast. Betting wise, it should be a fun one to watch though.
Yeah, let me pull that one up real quick.
Some good horses in it. The one might scratch. I think he ran today.
Away.
Yeah, he ran today, so he'll scratch in that. So close the game. We'll have the inside post. There's some good horses in it. Some good closers. Some good speed.
But in that case, if close the game draws the rail, I'd probably look for a good spot against. Yeah, and Skelly was kind of disappointing last time too, to be honest. I mean, that was a grade 1, but that was had a big lead on a speed favoring track and kind of spit the bit a little bit. Close the game. So yeah, I think I haven't looked hard enough at the alternatives, but I think that could be a good race to chuck both of them out and we try and beat them. Let me see.
I was taking a look at the Hear Me Song and the 9 Necker Islander too that I was kind of looking.
Necker Island, yeah, that's a cool horse. It's a hard knocker. Yeah, I have to do a little bit more digging on that race, but I mean, Close the Game Sugar does have enough early speed where that rail might not hurt him as much. He might be able to just get out and blast out of there and put himself in a decent position, but definitely a good card. Hopefully it's fast and firm, but I mean Churchill does have the big fields on some of the races, which is nice. You don't see that on dirt.
Yeah, it's a good mix.
Everywhere, so.
Definitely, this was the pick 4 I picked. If you're in the juveniles, 2-year-olds, maidens, there's a lot of other sequences I've got going on this day. It should be pretty fun, and yeah, you can definitely, there's some races you can single or get a really small ticket, and then some spread races that are a bit harder to see what who the obvious winner is. So it should be a good payout. Thanks for dropping by and giving us your cool nuggets of knowledge, Mr. Conductor.
Anytime.